Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there? Peasant Chat. Peasant Chat. We talk to poor people every Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day, every Sunday. And we talk to poor people to try to convince them to not to make bad decisions. A lot of the people, the reason the Peasant Chat was started, which is now kind of more of a hardcore Amory chat, was to give the opportunity to people that were poor, meaning people that were not paid members or paid questions or super chats that we just couldn't get to. You know, we didn't charge for questions, but now we charge because everyone, peasants are actually more difficult to deal with. Today, we're going to talk about is a new wave developing of naturally aspirated fans trying to make a Coyote car fast NA. And I am actively stopping that wave. I am going out of my way. I'm stopping everything I'm doing to make sure that that wave does not develop, that wave gets absolutely crested before it makes anything of it, because I am trying to save you money and I'm trying to save you headaches, and I'm just generally trying to save you from making a ridiculously bad decision. And today I'm going to justify that thought process, and I'm going to try to do it in a way so it's not like entertaining and clickbaity. I'm trying to give you facts here because you can go faster, cheaper in a boosted Coyote than you can a naturally aspirated Coyote. And when we make some comparisons as to maybe why I think you are looking to naturally to get into the NA game, you're going to see that it's a feeble effort. And then, you know, hopefully I can convince you guys to just put boost in it, keep it full weight, keep it pump gas or pumpy 85 friendly, and your dollar is going to go further with that particular setup. We'll talk about that and many more things, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly tells us to do it live.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
It does suck, but the sponsors make it not suck so much. PMAS, Nick James and PMAS, the best cold air intakes, MAF sensors. You can literally call them and build your own MAF housing, or not housing, a cold air kit. They have DIY cold air kits, 11 to 14 NA and supercharged cold air kits, and anything from Gen 2 and up. There's only one place to go for cold air and MAF sensor stuff. PMAS, Nick James and PMAS. Don't Make Got Cookies, don'tmakegoutcookies.com. I'm telling you, if you want a real hot chick making your cookies, you're going to go to don'tmakegoutcookies.com. Her and her husband have funny names for the cookies, like bust in it, suck it, I don't know, eat my asshole, whatever. Get the eat my asshole cookie. Let's see how that one sounds. don'tmakegoutcookies.com. DNAPperformance.com. You're going to get your brand new parts there. You're going to basically get injectors, wheels, tires, exhaust parts, superchargers, power adders, anything new. This is the online parts house sponsor of the show. Hashtag YDBT at checkout. You're going to be able to get a little bit of a discount there. Partsfarm.com. You're going to get your used Mustang, F-150, Camaro, Charger, you name it, parts at the Parts Farm. Coyote swap kits, probably the place to go if you want a complete turnkey package. Hit up partsfarm.com. Two Auto Solution, Rami's on Auto Solution. I might be inadvertently helping Rami with some old school supercharger stuff that went out and is coming back under a new supplier. I just kind of stumbled across it, so hopefully Rami is able to, you know, make a little money doing that. And Belak Industries, it's Caleb backwards, Damian Borrato in Miami, getting some wheels for the drug dealers so that you can show off in your BMW with rear-only Belex. richprince.com/YDBT if you want to support the show and get some stuff. Okay, we got hats, YDBT Amory, YDBT and Amory trucker style, Dolo, YDBT and Amory flat brim, Shiesty if you want to hold somebody up and not have, you know, no face, no case. This is the Shiesty to get. Section 8 shirts and hoodies, Hush Money shirts and hoodies, 050 shirts and hoodies, Booty Juice shirts and hoodies, Elote Juice shirts and hoodies. Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, 350, 85 to 86, 87 to 93, Save the Manual shirts, 1320 video, Didio shirt, F1320 shirt, YDBT vertical, horizontal, all the goodies. Let's say hi to the people here, and then we'll talk about why you should never build an NA Mustang. Because it's stupid, gay, and you're basically wasting money. Monty 540, Chuck Wazarinsky, Nick B. Levesh, Frank Donahue, Z33, Kemzilla, Some Junk, EPA, Clint Stroke a couple of times, Wesley Stewart, Bryson Witt with the links. He's got the Patreon links. Again, if you want to be up on game, tech chats, pew chats, access to me, general shit talking, even a dating channel section. It's pretty cool. Check it out. Joe Jackson, Bryson Witt, Mark Christensen, Joe Swish, Matt Oliver, Dixon, John Bonanno, Joshua Judd, Cobra 460, Luis Torres, Dante LSX, Average Dad times 4 says, morning, Emery, dropping a like, then gotta go. Ears can't hear. Tiny ears can't hear. Gotcha. Replay later. 508 Josh. Yusuf, Craig Walls, Mr. Billet Noonan himself. Have you done any testing? I'm sure you're out there testing for World Cup. F-150 RCSB. 5 Hole, Phil Fez, Mr. Coffee, Jay Walker, CPR Andrew, Bullhead, Carlos Bohena, Joe Swish, Jared Wells, Head Games, Motorworks, Mr. David Lacalo, Josh Roy, Azalalali. Wow. What the fuck kind of name is that? Azalali. Pito Chiquito, Dave Burnin Miles, Joe Swish, Murad Karatepe, Slow 99, and Chapa, BN, Coyote, Kelly, Beach Pirate, and all the usual suspects. Let's talk about it. I want to ask you guys a question. Hey, what's up, Parker? I want to ask you guys a question. Okay. Let's say you have a GT350, 12-to-1 compression, 5.2 liter, GT350 heads, GT350 cams. But you put a Cobra Jet on it with a monoblade and on E85, how much rear wheel horsepower are you expecting from that combo? Go. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and let you guys answer. The reason I say that is the most potent or highest horsepower combo currently available in a production Mustang, right? The highest naturally aspirated horsepower you can get out of any production Mustang, production made at an assembly plant, is a GT350 motor. So if you have a Coyote, not a Voodoo, and you build it to the top of the heap, the best you can do, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. What the fuck are you talking about, Savar Martin? Are you being serious? I'm trying to be serious here. Jesus Christ. What a crazy number. So the most horsepower you could think about making with the most potent, naturally aspirated motor offered by Ford probably ever is the Voodoo motor. Came with 520 behind the asshole horsepower, but at the rear wheels, it's in the 470, 480 range pump gas. And then you say monoblade, Cobra Jet, E85. You're probably looking at maybe 520. Nito Diaz, you're a little crazy. This is a little crazy. 550 is a little crazy, but this is good. 500 to 520, 515. And you got, if you're in the 500 to 520 rear wheel horsepower range, I think you have a very good pulse of what's happening. Okay, now, if in theory you have a 520 rear wheel horsepower GT350 motor on E85, what does it make? What does it make on an engine dyno? What? Shut up, BN. Stupidest fucking post I've ever seen. Stupid post. I've never seen a stupider post. I've never seen a stupider comment. So, on an engine dyno, how much power is that? How much on an engine dyno would a 520 to, let's be very, very nice. A GT350 motor can make on a engine dyno with a monoblade Cobra Jet E85. 600? More pews, more boost. You're psycho. Psychotic. How did you get 150 rear wheel horsepower drivetrain loss? All right? 560, 600-ish. Okay, because if it's making 520 wheel, probably making 600 behind the asshole. See, some of you are good. Some of you are retarded. That's why you should never talk out of meat. Anyone that said 690, 680, or 700 should never talk out of meat. Right, 618, 610, good. You guys are doing the drivetrain loss comparison. Listen to the following video. Just listen to the following video. 5.2 liter, 12-to-1 compression, monoblade throttle body, 350, CJ intake, comp cams, whatever, and leaded race fuel.
Chris, that was music to my ears. I mean, blowers are great, turbos are great, but
Oh my God.
I love good old-fashioned NA power. That thing sounded good at idle. At full song, oh my God, that thing was music to my ears. Well, how much power did it make, and how high did you rev that thing?
We revved it up to 7,800, and it
We revved it up to 7,800.
made 854 horsepower,
Oh
and
my God.
she's still climbing.
Ah, got it. Revved it to 7,800, and it somehow made 850 horsepower. Now, let's put a bunch of asterisks next to it. I don't doubt that it made on his dyno that power, right? I don't doubt that on his dyno it showed that. I have no doubt on earth. I have no reason to doubt it. But there's a reason we ask these questions, and then we make a comparison to what a engine builder says. So, if you were a layman and you were like, wait a minute, 12-to-1 compression, 350 heads, comp cams, a Cobra Jet and a monoblade, and C25, 800 horsepower to the flywheel, that's damn near 770 to the tire. Alex, should I build an NA Coyote? Right. So I go, so where did you get that thought process that you actually think you could do that? Because if that's the case, let's compare it to its closest relative, is a GT350. 350 heads, 350 cams, 5.2 liter, revs to 8,300 if you want. Put a Cobra Jet and a monoblade, and it somehow gains 350 horsepower? That's the problem with the NA game. People are looking for information. People are looking to build something. And unfortunately, the internet, I don't want to say it's misleading, but every single factoid that gets sent to you has to be taken with a grain of salt. It has to be taken with a grain of, you're like, that don't make any sense. No, I'm sorry. That don't make any sense. Like, maybe I'm no engine building expert, but unless you put element 115 for rods, where they bend space-time every stroke, I really don't think that motor made an actual 850 flywheel horsepower, but I have no doubt that on your dyno, it made that. Now, what's the way to prove me wrong? You take that motor, you put it in a chassis, manual chassis, so you have about 15% drivetrain loss, and if it shows 775 rear wheel horsepower, I will shut my whore mouth. And I will say, I've been proven wrong. But to this day, I don't know of any 12-to-1 compression, 350 headed 5.2 on any cam that makes that kind of power, astronomical. So in my inbox, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, Alex, I want to build an NA Mustang. And I go, okay, why? Well, I want to run these LTs and LSs. And I'm like, okay, now there's another wrinkle to this. What chassis is it in? So if you want to build a NA Mustang, is it a S197 at 3,600 pounds? Is it a S550 at 3,700 pounds? Like, I am blown away. You know, it's not hard to find what that engine ran in a car. Right. It's not hard. What did it run? Did it make 775 real horsepower? And this is why I'm talking about chassis. I have no doubt that if that engine gets put in a Foxbody, it can probably run low 9s, high 8s. But that is a 2,300 pound car, right? If you go, okay, what chassis am I going to put this engine in? Probably an S550, because people that buy the car say, I want to build the NA, but it is a 3,600 to 3,700 pound car. So you're like, okay, if I ran 9.0s with this motor, in what chassis? Because if you have a 2,300 pound Foxbody, but if you're like a layman or a normal guy or a normie, you're building a 3,600 pound S550 or S650, S550 or S197, your performance is going to vary a ton. So I'm kind of blown away that the people that believe videos like that for what they are, follow that recipe, put it in a car, and then they're like, how come it didn't run the number? My tune must be off. If you saw in our ticket system that people that absolutely, no, stop. 5.2, Voodoo. GT350 heads, Voodoo. Comp cams, probably similar spec to the Voodoo. Even if it has 15-to-1 compression and the most badass cams on the planet, it ain't making 800 behind the asshole power because there isn't 300 horsepower in cam and head porting. I'm sorry. Ask Head Games. Head Games, you're here. Hello. Have you ever seen a combo that the displacement was exactly the same and with a cam, compression, and port work, it made 300 more horsepower naturally aspirated? Right. So again, what chassis are you putting it in? Are you putting it in a chassis? Are you even running a class? Or are you shoving it in a car that weighs 2,300 pounds to prove your point? But our customer is a 3,600 to 4,000 pound customer in terms of vehicle they use. So obviously I'm going to deter you from building an NA car. I'm like, why are you building an NA car? And well, I mean, I saw this video of this motor on the internet making 800 horsepower, and I'm like, that'd be cool to do it NA and not worried about blower, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what's an 8? Let's take that motor. Let's say you take that motor and it actually makes 850 flywheel horsepower, and you put it in a car. What's it gonna run? Let's say the car is 3,200 pounds. Let's say you got all the saucy stuff, all the great converter or a badass. It'll probably be a deep 9-second car or a high 8-second car. What's the cost of that motor? How much do you guys think that motor is? If, let's say in theory, you can build an 850 behind the asshole horsepower Coyote motor, what are you going to pay for that? 20,000 bucks? Someone said tens. Right, so if that motor actually make 850 horsepower and you put it in a normal chassis, it'll be like a high 9 or a low 10. What's it take to run high 9 or low 10 on a stock motor car with a blower? 12 PSI? 13 PSI? Right, and the motor is going to be damn near $30,000 or more. So if I was to say, wait a minute, I can pay $25,000 to $30,000 for this badass motor that makes 850 flywheel horsepower, or I can take my stock motor, buy a blower, name your blower, pulley it to 13 or 14 PSI, fuel system, converter if it's auto or manual, supporting mods, you will be damn near $5,000 to $8,000 in the green, meaning less money spent on it, and you can drive that car to the track, race it, and drive it back with air conditioning, all your nannies, all of your seats, comfortable seats, not gutting it, no nothing. So the NA guys really need to understand that if there is such an easy combo as making 800 flywheel horsepower by just Cobra jetting a Voodoo, why isn't it the most popular combo in history? Why aren't there thousands of 800 horsepower Voodoo swapped cars naturally aspirated? If that's the actual sauce, because Parts Farm comes across Voodoos all the time, you would think that the Voodoo secondhand would damn near be the hottest selling ticket on the planet. But I've always told customers, take all that information with a grain of salt. Now, this is the pushback I get. The people that sell that product, the people that believe, the motor builders, the vendors, the vast majority of people that need to make money on an idea hate me because I am not selling a product. The only thing I sell, if anything, is Lund tuning. That's it. But I am not going to go out there and start saying, yeah, with our tune, you can make 800 horsepower to the rear wheel with it. No, because I'm trying to guide you the best way possible. So stop thinking NA on a 30. If your car weight starts with a 3,000, unless you have a 7-liter NA pushrod motor, there is no reason to even think NA stuff. I think there is not enough torque to get the car out of the hole unless you launch it at 8,000 RPMs. You're going to have to rev the shit out of it. You're going to have a lot of parts that wear because of the high revving nature of a naturally aspirated Coyote based motor. So please, 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 let's stop this NA wave that seems to happen every time a new platform comes out. S197 stopped. S550 started. People tried to do NA shit with that. And then you look at these cars and they're gutted. They're good. There's nothing in them. You look at an NA guy that pops off, he got his windows tinted at 0%, windshield included, and when you open the door, you see the outline of the frame of the dash, and I'm like, there's nothing in it. Why would I want to do that? Why the hell would I want to do that? Mike Max, forget the cost. It's just not there. It's just not there. It's just the nature of the motor lends it to not. Now people say, well, what about Carlos Sobrino? You mean a 15-to-1 compression in a notchback, super duper, light. Go ahead. Tell me how much you think he has into that car. And it ran like 8.5, I think, or 8.4. What do you think? How much money do you think it takes to run mid-8s in a bone stock, let's say factory 19 GT? Factor in the turbo 400 because you'll need a turbo 400. A turbo kit, oil pump gears if you want, and a fuel system, axles, and a drive shaft. There's your 850. And you drive it home. I don't know what's worse, the claimed power or the MMR. So I appreciate that you guys are trying to understand where I'm coming from. And I look, a lot of these cars, a lot of these companies are going to push a product. So you have to understand they're pushing a product. Joe Irwin did something wonderful the other day. I was on YouTube. And Joe Irwin actually talked about versus LT. And he has a oil pump dyno. Let me see. FFRE oil pump dyno. Oil pump dyno. He makes his own oil pump gears. Yeah, here you go.
So this...
Okay, let's watch the whole thing. 2 minutes. Really get on game. Really get on game. This is Joe Irwin on the left, and this is the Horsepower Wars, whatever.
This is an interesting contraption. Walk me through, obviously it's a test bench.
It is.
But it's a lot more advanced than normal test benches. So tell me, I see sensors, I see a laptop, what's going on here?
Well, obviously all the Coyotes, we put billet gears in the pumps, right? Because the factory gears break, right? And fold over themselves. So we put billet gears in them, and the market has all of these billet gears available, right? Yeah. And some are better than others. You have different pump housing clearances, you have different gear clearances, and what we saw was we were sending stuff out, and we would get a phone call and say, hey, this thing has low idle oil pressure, and it is a common problem in the industry. So we built this pump dyno essentially to run the pumps. We could validate that we have correct pressures, correct volume of oil, it's quiet, and we could essentially break the oil pumps in, right? Get rid of the material that it's going to make on startup, right? Work that out of the system and validate that we've got a good piece.
Well, and breaking it in, that's one thing that I don't think a lot of people realize. Just like we break in an engine, when you break in a brand new mechanical pump, there's going to be schmutz.
Yeah.
And this ostensibly gets all that out before it ever touches the engine, right?
It does, yeah, and you'll see it. When we run these things, we ran a little quick test to show you real quick. But as we run these things, you'll have some of that scud come out of there, and then you'll get more clean oil, right? So at that point, that thing's ready to go. We validated it that it does its pumping pressures and volumes. It runs on the bypass. The bypass isn't stuck, right? All of these things that we've seen.
All the things that will give you a phone call on their first start.
That's right.
Okay, so that is a Melling oil pump, and it has, I believe, fast forward race engines, oil pump gears, How many of you have heard of either? How many of you have heard of a Melling Coyote oil pump with FFRE stuff in it? Have you heard about it? Why not? Why haven't you heard about it? There's probably not a lot of margin in it. There's probably, if you were to say, well, let me stock a Melling deal, and maybe FFRE is insanely smart, and they're like, I'm not going to make this commercially available because I'm going to do this in my in-house engine builds. I'm going to get Melling oil pump with a what? A bypass? Why would you need a bypass? So you have, and it's adjustable. Whoa. Nope. Let's buy the oil pump gear that is pre-blued, curvy, and has the highest margin. Blown away that the people that are online say, well, and TikTokers will go, well, you need this oil pump gear. And I go, that's the worst one. That's the worst one. But they go, that's what everyone else sells because this parts house, this engine builder, this guy, and this guy say so. So it should be good. And then I go, FFRE has a freaking pump dyno, a Melling oil pump housing with a bypass, and I believe FFRE gears, and I think a crank sprocket. I'm just like, I'm sorry. You guys that live on Facebook, TikTok, you are informed, but you are misinformed. If you pay attention to Coyote content on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, generally you are misinformed. You're informed, but you're misinformed. Yep, nope. Nobody's ever heard of it. Have you never heard of it? No? Well, guess what's on the Billy Badass shit? That stuff. Or a aftermarket pump, like I forget what they're called, Peterson or something like that. TKM, RPG, and Texas Speed would never have high enough IQ for this. And again, I'm not talking shit on them. I am talking positive about a company that understands. Remember, did you hear what he said? We want to make sure it has the right pressure and the right volume. So there's a gallons per minute reading. He runs the dyno. I'll shut up. Let's hear the rest of the video.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, and you know, at the end of the day, you don't have to take the engine back out of the car. You don't have to take all of the timing stuff off of it. You know, to get to this is a difficult thing, so you want to make sure that this is correct.
All right, there you go. I thought he was going to run it, but he was talking about pressure and volume. Does anyone else talk volume? Or does everyone else says, this thing has great oil pressure? If you put your finger at the end of a hose, you'll have great pressure. But the amount coming out of there is not enough. So people go, okay, on a Coyote stock fuel system, just jack up the pressure. What about the volume? Crazy. I've never heard of Melling for the Coyote stuff, but I haven't seen many run it. Always been told by stick to Ford Performance. Nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, now you heard something else, right? Ford Performance. What? Melling? What? Because there's not enough margin in it. I've heard of Melling in a 3-valve because nobody buys a Melling oil pump just to put OPGs in it. Don't forget the stupid holes drilled in them. No clue of the vengeance. Okay. Are you talking about the OPGs that look like they got thrown across the shop floor before it was boxed? The clearances. Look, again, TikTokers, Instagrammers, YouTubers, and they push the wrong stuff. And I'm not going to go on every single post and go, that's wrong, you should do this. Why? Because then I'm in the minority. But I'm in the minority that's the most informed. I know it sounds like I'm boasting, but look who I have access to. Look at the people that I surround myself with. Those people are at the highest end of the Coyote game. The highest end. So you don't think I'm going to take what they say as like law, or I'm going to take some YouTuber, TikToker, and they put me in the YouTuber category, and I'm like, then why do I say anti everything TikToker, YouTube, and Instagrammer? Why am I the only guy saying everything they're saying is wrong? Why am I the only guy saying don't build an NA car? It's fucking stupid. The fastest NA S550 is actually a Gen 2 car from Australia. When I know, don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck because how much does it weigh? How much does it weigh? How much does it weigh? Well, I know that Tic Tac oil pump gear pays for most of the mention. Exactly, the Tic Tac oil pump gear. Smart on them to verify the product before it goes out. I told someone that TSS was way better than others and he didn't want to listen. He said the blue tinted one is the same thing. Doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Has no idea. Oh, look at this one. What's different on this one? It's got curves in it. What's that for? Anti-cavitation. Okay. You're the only person I listen to about Coyote shit, and I appreciate that. And it's, again, because I have the show and the platform and the access to the people. Some people do talk volume when it comes to LS pumps, but it's usually in the reference of the pump sucking all the oil out of the pan. I know who I'd buy the built Coyote from, FFRE only. I've told you guys, these are the 3 people you should ever buy Coyotes from, ever, according to Alejandro Flores and this show. Ford. Stock motor, right? When that blows up and you're like, all right, let me turn it up. You go to Ford and you buy an Illuminator, right? If your heads are okay, you buy yourself a Gen 3 Illuminator, $7,100. A rod, piston, you name it, bada bing, bada boom. You get yourself an Illuminator, slap your heads on it, and you party. And aside from that, you get a motor from FFRE, and you are done. There is nothing else to think about. There's nothing else to argue. There's nothing else to compare. Stock, Ford Performance, FFRE, they are not paying me. They're not paying me. No. I have an Illuminator in the garage. If any of these motors go, the Illuminator go in there. If the Illuminator or I have 2 Illuminators. If any of those go, I'm gonna talk to FFRE and go, let's throw a stage 3 in there. And I think the Corvette, out of all of them, will probably get an FFRE motor before any others, because the others are going to be high 8-second cars, right? The other car that has a built motor, I would call it Collier, the white car, that one is an 860 car, and it's got an Illinois built motor. If that goes, FFRE stage 3, throw it in there, keep going. Easy. Ford, FFRE, and PAS, Performance Assembly Solutions. Did Ford upgrade the OPG in the Gen 4? I don't know. I don't think so. According to a couple of people that I know that have already taken some motors apart, they're the same oil pump gears. But again, oil pump gears don't just fracture. If you think it's a ticking time bomb, you're listening to the wrong people. Most of my cars that have lasted, I've never had an oil pump gear failure. I've never had an oil pump gear failure. I repeat, Alejandro Flores, who's owned 50 of these fucking cars, has never had an oil pump gear failure. Why? I don't sit there and slam the limiter. If I miss a gear, it hits a soft limiter. It doesn't hit a hard limiter. The pop, 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 I don't want the car to ever go pop, pop, pop. Some of you that go ba 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 ba, and you're doing a burnout ba 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 ba. Where is it? Do I have that? Where's the GT 500? The price is right. F is all turvy. F that. No, that's not it. Showcase. Boy, where is that? That is the best sound clip specifically for this, but I haven't played it in forever. No, it's not here. We suck, screaming, R2D2, puro pinche, pockets, beep, sasso. That's nothing. Anyway, the GT500 slamming off a limiter is stupid. It's really stupid. And if you think it sounds cool, and then you're Pikachu faced when a OPG goes, you have only one person to blame. Chuck says, TSS OPGs are made via wire EDM process. It is a slow, time-consuming process, but the parts made by wire EDM are some of the most precise parts available. That's why they are the most expensive. So wire EDM, let's give some people a what that is. A clue. Wire EDM. Oh, there's shorts? Oh, God, cool. Yeah. The precision on wire EDM stuff is just ridiculous.
This stunning piece of metal is a Metmo cube. It's actually cut with incredible precision using a brass wire that is 3 times finer than a human hair, and it's really satisfying to watch. Although the wire is so thin, it still leaves a small wiggle room, which means it has to be made from multiple separate pieces. For instance, in this cube, the inner part is cut first, which goes into a corresponding part that is a perfect pocket cut separately. Finally, surface grinding the 2 parts together creates a seamless finish. This stunning piece of...
There you go. So that's the process of the best oil pump gear on the market, which is typically TSS. There. They're talking clutches on the chat. What about low compression for boost? I have a low compression Illuminator. I wish it was high compression because I could probably get another 80 horse out of it. But all I do is just keep throwing more boost at it. As a matter of fact, I'm releasing a video today of some of the belt routing process. Not the most sexy video, but it is just in case someone needs that information. And I'm going through the process of curing belt slip on the GT500 because I'm experiencing a good amount of belt slip over 6,800 RPMs at that boost level with a 6-rib. Now, I'm going to see how far I can go with a 6-rib. And that's probably a feeble effort also. But it's not an expensive effort. It's like a belt here for 25 bucks, an idler there for 30 bucks, a tensioner here, nothing crazy, a bracket for 60, not thousands of dollars. And if I've done all of the mitigating I can think of to make a 6-rib able to produce boost at over 20 PSI on the twin inlet Magnuson blower, great. But if not, I'll go 8-rib or potentially 10-rib, which means I have to reconfigure the blower stuff eventually based on the space that I have. But I'm going to release a video in case someone is going through the same process and you'll go along that journey with me. That'll be today at about 5 or 6 p.m. Chuck, so they blacksmith their OPGs. Badass. OPS are a forum nightmare. Ops are a forum nightmare. They only break, I think he meant OPGs. But it broke being thrown in the air. Yes, this is the craziest thing. When you see how an oil pump gear rides on a housing, I'm blown away that people go, look at this oil pump gear, it's weak. And they drop it from 6 feet up to a hard chunk of concrete or asphalt. And when it breaks based on shock impact, at what point, based on the clearances of the crank, is there a shock impact equivalent to dropping them from 6 feet onto concrete? There are people that go, whoa, the drop test failed. Those are bad to put in my car. I would say if you drop test a lot of cast parts, they'll probably get damaged, right? I don't know, if you drop like a GT500 rod or something and you drop it and it dents on one side, you're like, see? This rod's no good. And I'm like, when does a rod get dropped? When does an oil pump gear get dropped from 6 feet? What is the equivalent in its normal operation of an oil pump gear getting dropped from 6 feet onto asphalt or concrete? It never happens. It's a rotating thing. So if it's rotating at, I don't know, 8,000 RPMs, and then all of a sudden you hit a limiter, and the thing is spinning and goes, bah, 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 it might fracture a housing. But normal operation, fine. Don't hit a limiter. Real easy. Are you going to premiere the video or just dropping it? I don't know. I think premiering it gets more views. I think I might just drop it. Like a lot, like Street Alpha was like, premiering gets more views. I'm like, yep, it does because you got to be there. So I might premiere it and then let it ride after that. I just don't run the stock OPGs because I'm cheap. It's because the stock OPGs rarely fail. So aftermarket ones are a waste of money. I agree. Smash or devour. I agree that it is not a absolute definite to get OPGs. The ESS car that I had, the white ESS Supercharged 19 GT, stock oil pump gears. And it's 4 years. Someone is still fucking around out there with it. No issue. Chuck says, low compression. Where are you? Where you go? There you go. Low compression is to compensate for lack of octane. Why would you want to heat your air charge more, add more boost if you don't have to? So, yes. So, let's say, for instance, you were making 650 horsepower on 10 PSI. And now it's low compression. Now you need 12 PSI or 13 PSI, which does cause higher IAT issues. 100%. I agree with him. There is a certain point where you want a bigger tuning window, but that doesn't mean you throw 30. Guys, there are tuners out there throwing 30 degrees of spark advance down the throat of a low compression Coyote. Boosted. Well, it's low compression. Boy, you are so stupid. See, nobody knows if you're being facetious because sarcasm and tongue-in-cheek does not come across on text or does not translate over text. There's a place for NA Coyote builds. It's not drag racing, though. Road racing is the only justifiable reason. It's not competitive to run a boosted Coyote, and it isn't reliable on a road, right, a road course application. Coyotes are perfect. Some of the highest, like, Some GT3 whatever classes are 600 horsepower classes. Like they're not 900 horsepower. That's like Billy badass stuff. But a 500 horsepower wheel NA Coyote, aka a 350 motor, is perfection, and that's where it should live. If you want to drag race the NA game, you better have an 8 something liter big block something. If you want to run Billy badass stuff, you go down, the JJ, the boss route, and get a big block in that bitch.
Am I the only one that gets a hard on when Dominator races? I mean, those blue eyes are to die for. Now, looky here. These be them rules for the race. Number 1, jump and I eat your ass. Number 2, the chase is anal sex. And 3, if you jump, we come in your booty hole. Who's in?
I never noticed that if you jump, 2 things happen. He eats your ass, and then he comes in your booty hole. Unbelievable. JJ the Boss's rules are for real streeters. The harder they are, the more brittle they are. Sometimes you want a little stretch and bend. Sometimes you don't. People think metal is just metal. Right. So, interesting. So, my boss in the millwright game would be known for making shafts for pumps out of stainless. And then, guys, is stainless softer in terms of twist or firmer than steel? I tested dimple ports the same way. What are you talking about? Do you have context to that, or you're just saying stuff? Do you have any context to that? That's a dimple port. So, if I have a stainless shaft, and I was to twist it, and I have a steel shaft, and I was to twist it, which one would be more likely, depending on the stainless, but I'm being in general, which one would be easier to twist? Stainless is softer than steel, generally. Someone said harder and softer. See, someone doesn't know what the fuck is happening. Firmer, harder. Stainless is softer. Stainless is softer. It just doesn't rust. And again, there's 316, there's 4 something, there's a bunch of different stainlesses. But stainless steel is more likely to twist than steel. Steel is harder, so it'll shatter and break. So, on a pump shaft that has a 2-foot wide impeller on it, you don't want stainless on it. You don't want stainless. Because if something gets caught in it, that motor is still going to turn that shaft, and the shaft will deform. Whereas steel will just power through that until it has its shearing point also. Generally, I'm not saying it's a hard rule. Generally, you know what I'm saying. Brittle, softer, I think it's more hard. Hey, stainless is hard as fuck. Yeah, you don't get it. It's okay. Depends on the heat treating. Correct. There's different types of stainless. But I'm saying a 316 versus cast. Talking about some hard steel shafts in the chat, brother. Softer metal lasts longer and withstands more shock. Richmond race gears are softer than stock, for instance. Yeah. When you work in the millwright field, certain things should not be made out of stainless unless you want anti-corrosive properties. Right? As long as it has a probably better tensile strength, but it doesn't have like the bending. So depending on the application, if the shaft is vertical, and it has a 2-foot wide impeller underneath it, and you're pumping shit, that shaft should not be made out of stainless. If you have a horizontal shaft, that's a chilled water, right? A chilled water pump that has no chunks of anything going through it, you want that to be made out of stainless because it has anti-corrosive properties. The shaft's going to last forever, and it's just going to just live forever. Whereas the steel shaft would rust, or the sleeves would trap fluid inside of the O-ring and corrode the shaft. Hey-yo. Stainless can be sharpened to a sharper edge than carbide, but it doesn't hold the edge. Chromoly hardened steel. Now we're talking. When I was racing sleds and the driver's shafts were titanium to prevent the twist and flex of steel. The more carbon, the harder the alloy. Depends on the alloy and the heat treating, but generally, exactly, steel has a higher carbon content, which increases the strength and wear resistance. Done. Right? So people would hear this and go, "Whoa, stainless is more hard than steel." I'm like, "Oh." But you guys are on it. You guys understand. You guys get what I'm talking about or what I'm trying to say. It depends on the application, right? So a lot of people just have a general rule. Isn't stainless more betterer? So aren't forged oil pump gears more betterer than the stock cast stuff? Because if I throw it, it breaks. Do you think Ford goes, you know what? These oil pump gears in this engine test dyno have been there for like 800 hours. And then some engineer goes, but what if you take the gears out and throw them against the wall? Will they survive? You know what? Let's try that. Nope. It's like, that's not the reason. That's not how you test them. Like, hey, you know, Steve, yeah, we have that new Coyote engine that we've been testing for a couple of years. It is wonderful. Oil pressure holds at 70 at 4,000 RPMs. It's gone through about 10,000 hours. It is phenomenal. Yeah, but you should start throwing parts at the wall to see what survives. Oh, whoa! You know what? You're right. Hey, take the rods out, throw them against the wall, and if they're no good, re-engineer the engine. That's how Breadman tests his valve springs. No, he don't test them. He just goes, the machine shop fucked up, not me. I had the whole motor over here for 4 months, and when you put it in your car, it doesn't work. Not my fault. Valve spring. I'm like, valve spring? The motor was in your possession, dickhead, the whole time. All I did was put it in. And if something failed in that motor, it's your fault. Stainless is nice for valve cover bolts, but not for wheel studs. Just like the same people. Dude. Remember a couple of weeks ago I said, you don't want to put anti-seize on your lug nuts, right? You don't want to put anti-seize on your lug. That's stupid, right? And then one guy... one guy was like, "Oh yeah? Well, will that work on these? I got." He said, "Yo, Alex, you're wrong. These definitely require You're so wrong, Alex. These require anti-seize on the lug nuts." Because I'm like, really? You went from me saying, do not put anti-seize on your car to the Caterpillar Mountain Mover, whatever, the 797 haul, the 793F requires, dude, the exception is not the norm. The exception, he's like, oh yeah, well, at my work, it is in the rule book that you got to put anti-seize on the, what kind of truck? Oh, 793 Mountain Mover dump truck. I'm like, so more resistance to abrasion. No machine part is any good after it's been hit or dropped. Right. Open gears, running great. Great engineering. Okay, did you throw them against the wall yet? Could you imagine? You're a machinist and you're like, I mean, it specs out. The wear properties are perfect. Like this, right? Hey, this looks really good and we think it's going to survive. Throw it on the ground and see if these things bend. Well, yeah, they're going to bend. You're going to... Yeah, if they bend, they're no good. TikToker logic. What's up, guys? I'm here to test these oil pump gears. No good. Got it. Didn't see anybody throwing their bill. Right, take a crankshaft and throw it off of the edge of the Empire State Building. You know, I'll take this forged crankshaft and just throw it down there and see what happens. It's probably going to bend. I feel like they got that drop test idea from those infomercials that would sell tools and wrenches. Right. Remember the guys that would go, the knives, right? The knife infomercial. Let me see. Informer. Wow, Tim Pool is pumping out videos on a Sunday? That guy is retarded. Miracle Blade World Class TV. Like drop test. Let me see. Dropping a knife on purpose. I don't know what's happening, but these infomercials are getting.
1.5 thick rope, no problem.
Yeah, this is what an old pump gear salesman sounds like.
Flex steel reinforced hose like it's not even there.
That was tough.
Leather belt in a second. Now let's really amp it up. Watch this, cut right through steel. Look at that. And you know hubby's gonna grab that and take it outside and try and saw that branch down. In fact, let's hack it, chop it. You can try and destroy this knife as much as you want. And no matter what you do, whether it's stone, leather, steel, rock, it's still gonna stay razor sharp. That's the magic of the magic cut.
Guys, I need to make that an old pump gear commercial. What's going on? Remember the Foot Plus? Remember my Foot Plus commercial? Hate having to. Fuck. Where is Foot Plus? I gotta find it. Oh man, there's no way. Let me see. Foot Plus, Alejandro Flores. Alejandro Flores. Foot Plus. Dude, are you kidding me? Where is the pedal extender? Hate having to push your foot all the way down to get wide open throttle? The Foot Plus. I'm going to make an old pump gear commercial that's exactly like this.
Hate having to press the pedal all the way down for maximum performance? Introducing the pedal extender. What's it consist of? A revolutionary design. A 2x4 block of wood, some tape. Done. Holy shit! Call in the next 30 minutes and you'll get the brake maximizer. Same block of wood, just painted red.
I love it. You know, sometimes I'm funny. Sometimes I'm funny. Whoa! Did you take this open? But does it survive the drop test? So let me ask you guys a question. If your thought process is to invalidate the functionality of an oil pump gear by dropping it, then why not validate the functionality of an aftermarket oil pump gear by dropping it, then putting it in the car? Well, I got my new oil pump gear. So you know what we do here at this shop. All right, put it in the car, Steve. Do it. You're such a fucking genius. You're on Instagram. You're all over the place telling people that drop tests matter. Then drop that motherfucker on the ground. Put it in the car. Stupid. Because the way you invalidate a product is the same way you validate a product. Stupid. Technologia. Throw it on the ground. Put it in the car. Stupid. Someone edit OPGs into this. I'll do it. I think I'll do it. I'm gonna do that. The infomercial where the guy was testing his fake samurai sword and it broke and it stabbed him. I don't want to see that. I know another tuber that pumps out videos on Sundays. Me. The tolerances are good. They are reliable and they can be made by a dozen. But did you throw it against the wall? Yeah, everything should be thrown against the wall or dropped to validate its functionality. If not, if it doesn't survive that throw, then guess what? It's shit. That's how stupid you sound when you drop oil pump gears. The Foot Plus was hysterical. YOLO might need to do a comeback just for one video selling oil pump gears. I need a bunch of oil pump gears. I need to find them. And it has to be like the YOLO douchebag OPG. YDB. YOLO. YO. I'll figure it out. Magic Cut OPGs, block of wood. Exactly. I hope you didn't have to use that. So, the reason that commercial came about, because I had a, a flash of brilliance. A guy goes, hey man, the car runs great, but could you like make my pedal a little more sensitive? Push it down further. But I like resting my foot on the pedal and it just like goes watt. I'm like, watt without watt pedal. Yes. So then I'm like, are you like, do you have trouble reaching the pedal? Well, I like sitting far back. I'm like, then get up, get elevator shoes. I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. It's usually finance 10-speed owners seeing on TikTok, saying BS on TikTok, saying they're experts. Exactly. I'm 5'5", I'll take 2. They actually have those. Pedal spacer. Alex, a 2x4 won't bend when dropped. Every single part that YOLO douchebag is going to start making cylinder heads and engines, but they all get dropped. I wish I had like a building, right, where I could rig up things and be like, well, this is how I validate my product, because that's how you invalidate a product. So this is how I validate and again, just total douchebaggery, and just start dropping complete engines from like 10 feet up and go, well, that engine's no good. The whole engine. Drop the whole car from 10 feet. See if it survives. Dimo mi gente, drop it a like and I'll catch you later. I joined too late. I do not believe. Do you know? I threw my intake manifold and it cracked. Piece of shit, Ford. Right. Every part should be thrown. But Alex, that's so stupid. Why would you throw an intake manifold on the ground? Oh, fuck. Right. Stupid. Just be glad they're not. Doctor, imagine when Doc, this baby is healthy, but did you do the drop test? Just be glad they are not doctors. Imagine when Doc, this baby is healthy, but did you do the drop test? Right. Imagine a baby comes out and you're like, hey, it's a baby. Splat! Still breathing. Big old lump on his head. Will the pedal enter dent if you drop it? The gear did not survive the test. Nicholas Borelli says, what's going on with that Magnuson Supercharger giveaway you mentioned? What blower is it? Relax. If you don't know, that means you're not up on game. That means you're not a fan. That means you're a Johnny come lately. So no. I'm going to probably just pick a winner. I'm not going to make an entry. I'm going to promote it, but it's going to be an application process. I'm sorry. It's got to be an application process. I can't just give it away, because then if I give it away, it's gone to the ether, and then it ends up on Facebook Marketplace as YOLO's blower, 1 of 1. Nope. I'm going to ask for an application process. You're going to email me your what you're going to do with this, and then I'll probably pick out of a hat. We'll have you guys vote. It'll be democratic, but I'm not going to just give it away to the guy that buys the 8th t-shirt. Fuck that. Them are then guys, Buckingham Street Races, drop test the motor. I'm going to drop test the motor. I swear to God. Watch. I'm going to get something from the parts. You guys have any blown up motors around? Yep. I got to get a building. There's a building here. So this is my next thought process. I can buy a building. The problem is, or buy a bay, or a 2,000 square foot shop. For like $350 to $500, that's part of other shops in a complex. But the problem is there's an HOA. The problem is the loan structure is different. The problem is the terms are different. So if you were to buy one of those units and it's $350 to $500, I don't mind paying that. But the problem is the terms are totally different when it comes to a business. And then they want you to have a business. It's not like Alejandro Flores can come out of the street and just buy a bay without a business attached to it. Like there's certain prerequisites. I'm going to talk to Jake about that. I'm like, Jake, or subleasing would be perfect, but I want to own it. So for example, a $350,000, 2,000 square foot bay that I can put a couple of lifts in and maybe a dyno, because that'd be cool. It is 100% for content and for storage. Like store my vehicles there in one centralized unit and have a dyno. The show would be from there. You know what I mean? I'd have good internet. This would just be my place. Not my place / office. And I would literally, do all my content and everything there. You can, depending on the loan terms, you can be under $1,500 a month or under $2,000 a month for a Billy badass shop. Or at least a lot of space. But I don't know the terms attached to that down here. Meaning, I don't know how much down they want, years of loan terms, blah, 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 blah. I'm still waiting on my YDBT pedal extension, says Bryson Wade. They were dropping them onto each other. I'm going to drop my cams and then install them to make sure they're built good. They do the drop tests because that's how their parents tested them at a young age. I learned how to plasti dip from Yellow Douchebag. Right. This channel has it all. Would you replace oil pump gears as a precautionary measure on used Gen 3? Did you not? Sachimo, did you not hear anything? Like, did you not hear anything I said in the last 15 minutes? Or did you just pop in, you heard the word oil pump gear, and you're like, would you check the oil pump gear? Hey, Alex, what problems can 2-inch headers cause on an SI50 that other than false knock, or is that it? How big is the port? How big is a Coyote? Hey, Head Games Motorworks. How big is the port on a Coyote? Inch and like 7/16. I don't know. Gentlemen, like the video? Yes. Got to start throwing your diff gears too, right? Crankshaft by Dropsy. Rods by Dropsy. Because if you didn't drop the test, then it's just not correct. That's very good. Dropsy, well, it sounds silly, but yeah, it'll be interesting to like make products based on drop tests. I want to see the winner posted and make some videos with it. Exactly. I want to see them. Hey, look, the ported Magnuson 2650 that has an Amory logo on it ran this number. That's all I want. If someone applied for it and gets it without paying for it, it's a giveaway. If someone applies for it and gets it without paying, it's a giveaway. Correct, but not to you. That's what I'm saying. It's not, I'm not going to just give it away to someone that buys a shirt. That's not how it works. You apply, I communicate, I see there's 10 likely candidates, I take those 10 candidates' names, put them in a hat, go like this, and here, you're the winner. But Nicholas Borelli, you're definitely not getting it. I'll remember that. Give it to that guy that said he will give his old one away too, right? Sachimo says I have a Gen 3 only. Okay. Savar Martiner says I have a Gen 3 only owner. 91,000 miles on the engine. Boosted centrifugal on 110mm pulley. Stock block besides fuel injectors and spark plugs. No problems with OPGs. Stay off the limiter. Stay off the limiter. Technically, YouTube channel is a business. It is, but I have to do like a, it's a sole proprietor. So I'd have to do like an LLC. I don't know. I don't know the terms. Building would need a giant neon YDBT sign. Hell no. So people could go in there and fuck with my shit? Yeah. Hey, come in here and you hate my guts? Fuck with my shit. By the way, I didn't want to talk about the Charlie Kirk stuff, but I'm not going to talk about the Charlie Kirk stuff. What I'm going to say is this. I appreciate the retards that started posting anti-Charlie Kirk stuff. I really appreciate you because I unfriended and blocked you for my fucking life. If you're on Facebook popping off on anti-Charlie Kirk shit, saying you were happy he got shot, if you're on Instagram, if you're on any social media that I follow you on and you popped off about it, I simply unfollowed, blocked, unfriend, block. See you later. You are beyond retarded. I highly urge you guys to do the same thing. Anyone that celebrated him getting killed absolutely has to be shunned from society. There is no saving them. There is no bringing them back from the fold. There is no common ground. There is no community. Nope. Cut. Next. See you later. So if you're like, hey, what's Alex up to? I'm not his friend. Well, maybe look back on your post. Same thing that happened with Mangione. Same thing that happened with Mangione. Remember when you guys made fun of the fact that a guy killed the CEO of a health insurance company? And you guys, oh, free Mangione, free Mangione. Hey, there's another guy over here. You got the same treatment because you celebrated someone getting killed. You fucking weirdo. See ya. Lost a deleted message. Oh, he said you're just an ass. No, I don't like the way you come across. This is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship. This is me. This is my shit. I decide who gets the blower. You're not getting it. Hell, would you recommend against boosting your daily? 10 PGs, you thinking about ESS? Okay, get a Vortec V3 or a Paxton 2200 SL with a 3.6 pulley. Joe Blow. I think doing the giveaway like that is really the most fair and reasonable. All the raffles with YouTubers are annoying and they stuff their pockets. Right. Every time there's a giveaway, I'm like, write off, merch sales. And I'm like, that is To me, that's douchey. I'm not asking for I'm not asking for any payments. Now, yes, will I favor people that have been paying to be a member of this channel for years? Absolutely. But they didn't join specifically to get giveaways. They joined because they like the show and they want to support. So I'm going to say, hey guys, if you want to apply, apply here. Send me your information, your car. I got to figure out what blower I'm getting. So once I get the blower here, I will promote the shit out of it. So I get a lot of people applying. There will be a process. I will see your car. I will see if it's something worth it. I'll see if you're a racer. I'll see if you go consistently, and I'll see if you have like some social media following. And then I'll make sure that I pare down the names to something like 10, and then we just round robin. And I'll do a second and third place, right? Like I'll be like, okay, this guy gets the blower, this guy gets $500, and this guy gets merch or something. I don't know. NPC idiocracy activities with that hate. Imagine being upset someone you won't give your free shit unpromoted. Someone posted it's time to meet Mario and it went viral. These people are sick, dude. There were people that were like, oh, free him, free Mangione, free. I was like, you're fucking retarded. You think it's funny? Yeah, the CEO of anything. Imagine you work your butt off and you somehow become the CEO of anything, right? Meaning that means you're a high level person. Say what you will. Most CEOs get there by making the right connections, maybe being born into it, but they have to work for it, right? Farley got there. There is some talent there, but I just think he's doing a bad job. So I think he should be fired so that Ford could be in a better position, right? That's all. But to say you're celebrating someone getting offed and saying that that guy should be celebrated, I simply saw that on social media and I said, nope. Guess what the last names ended in of the vast majority of people that were talking that shit on Charlie Kirk. I was disappointed. I'm like, I can't believe you guys are popping off some crazy shit. Jerry 10 says, yo, Alex, is 800 horsepower enough to dip into the nines? Yes. Gen 2 MT82, plan on going 2-3 right. Yes. So my black 2011... let me see. Alejandro Flores 2011 GT. Let me see if there's drag racing videos of that car. Damn. Here it is. Mod Nats. I went 1042 with like 690 real horsepower. But there's a video of me at Mod Nats, the first Mod Nats. I think it was the first Mod Nats. There it is. This car was so cool, and it was only a 10-second car. This is a 1040 or so pass or something like that. And this was like 690 real horsepower. You know, I never realized how good that launch is. This is perfect. This is like a 1.52 60-foot stock rear end, stock 373s, UPR upper and lower, good drive shaft, and this is an MT82. That is damn near perfect. Like, if you have a stick shift car that's like a street car, your aim is to launch like this, in my opinion. Brother, I'm going to duplicate that. And again, that's what I'm hoping the blue GT500 launches like, with a bias ply. And we'll see. If I can cut a 1.5, I think I can run an 8 in that car. If I can cut a 1.5. Brother Alex, I'm finally back home and spending time with the wife and kids. I miss the beginning of, but I'll watch it. I think you're going to like the fact that we're throwing parts at walls to validate products. Mangione, to me at least, is a slippery slope. It opened the door for copycats, a possibility to inflict violence against people that they dislike. YN type shit. I didn't like it at all. I'm like, he killed somebody. That's crazy. You don't have to agree with his viewpoints, but no one deserves to die because of the viewpoints. No one decides what to do with your life but yourself, let alone ending it. Blue Sky is a hub of unhinged basement demons. Never even bothered going. 2650, do you recommend to go 20 brand? Which brand 2650 do you recommend to go low nines on Gen 3? Any. The 2650 rotor pack is pretty amazing for drag racing specifically. If you're going to be in the 16 to 17 PSI range or maybe in the 20s, if you can pull it to the 20s, I think you can go low 8s super easy. The E-Force is awesome. Magnuson is the only one that makes now a them and Magnuson, Edelbrock and Magnuson are the only ones that make a 2650 anything for Coyotes. Now, you're going to start seeing some changes happen to my 2650 and the Roush branded Magnuson 2650 that I'm sure it's going to end up in one of the vehicles that we tune pretty soon. I think those TVSs are pretty great. Like a lot of people go, oh, it's an Odin. No, it's a Magnuson private label to VMP. Now VMP does not offer it anymore because they went full dark side Whipple. Now they're living with those repercussions. And Magnuson is the only company you can get like a hot rod kit for on a Gen 3, which is basically what Odin's used to be, but it is now called a hot rod kit. So 2650 with the Roval. Again, that is a Magnuson design. So a lot of you guys are like, oh, VMP, that is a Magnuson private label deal for them. So eventually, once I go 8s with my twin inlet stuff, I'll probably get the Roval and put a Kenny Bell 168 on it and live a happy life. So all that to say, Edelbrock or Magnuson, obviously Magnuson sponsors me, so I'm going to opt towards them. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys are 100% on the money. The vast majority of people on my Facebook that hated Charlie Kirk and celebrated his death ended in these 2 letters. And I unfriended all of them. I blocked all of them. There is no discourse. There is no saving people like that. So I'm blown away that people are like, we need to have conversations. That shit ended. There is no conversating with people that are that polluted mentally. Alex, what is your opinion on a Predator 5.2 Illuminator short block as a replacement to a regular 5.0 Illuminator? Other than the difference in money, why wouldn't you go with a 5.2? No reason not to go with a 5.2. You're right. A little more displacement, has good rods and pistons. No reason not to do it. I agree. As long as you can swing it, I think that's a better motor because you're going to make a little more power because it has a little more displacement. Absolutely. No Steins on my list. These people need to watch your Build Series videos. Joseph Lay says, I don't have a Coyote, but can you do a giveaway that is 1 free gym session? Winner gets to spot you on squats and bench. Benches today. So I do bench on Sunday because no one else does. Everyone does it on Mondays. Those shifts sound crispy. I try. Hey, Alex, if you find a long engaged ZT2 package, would you still be possible for London Tuna 07 or 09 GT500? Got someone that's interested in buying one? Yes. Right now, I'm tuning a car in Tennessee, and it has a ZT2, and it is wonderful. Air fuel, 11.7, 11.5. Boom, boom, boom. It has a fuel raw pressure sensor. It has a AFR that is so nice. So nice. See, the ZT2 package allows you to analog in multiple things. So you could have like an aftermarket fuel rail pressure sensor. So in the log, let's say you have a 07 to 14 GT500, you're going to have a fuel rail pressure delta sensor. But you can analog in 2 more inputs. So you can have an AFR gauge, which you don't need on a 14 Coyote, but let's say you have an 09 GT500 or 07 GT500. It already has a fuel rail pressure sensor. And you're measuring O2 voltage, you're measuring AFR, and fuel rail pressure at the regulator. See, there's factory fuel rail pressure sensors, but the problem is they're at the rail. And with the pulsing of the injector, they tend to have a wavy signal. So when you buy Chuck's kit to relocate or a ZT2 setup that has a fuel rail pressure sensor in it, you can then analog that into the log and you see a really smooth fuel rail pressure graph. Some guy posted the other day, oh my God, Alex was tuning a car and fuel rail pressure was all over the fucking... No, they didn't name my name because they know I'd go fucking scorched earth and show that they've been stealing tunes from the get-go. But they're not calling my name yet. So they said, oh, Alex he said this log looked good and look at the fuel rail pressure. How can I adjust wavy fuel rail pressure signals on a data log in a tune? If you have a return style fuel system, fuel pressure is just a measurement of what's happening. I don't trigger the fuel system. The key on does. The pumps are just on. I cannot manipulate what the fuel rail pressure sensor does at all in the calibration if you have an aftermarket fuel system. So if you have a very wavy fuel rail pressure signal, that's your injectors pulsing and causing the signal to be bad. So what do? You relocate that sensor to the rail. But in the post on Facebook, they're like, oh, this is a tune issue. How is it a tune issue if the pumps are on with the key and the fuel rail pressure sensor is just reading back what's happening in the pressure in the rail? So I was blown away by the fact that anyone validated that stuff, because if you're a tuner, you go, I can't affect fuel or pressure signal unless you relocate the sensor. That stick shift launch was drop tested, works good. Rooster always dropping dimes. Is he Senior's alternate account? No, I think he's a truck driver. Almost caught air. When I play my videos back, analyze the sounds of a lot too. It's like hearing the car grabbing more prep each shift. That black car content is fire. Can't wait to see what the white car does, and the blue car. The blue car stick. I think the blue car, if I get to the track a lot, will be great content. Yeah, but again, I need people to video for me. I can't do everything in car, and I don't have friends. And I don't want friends because they fucking start saying, yeah, I'm glad that happened to Charlie Kirk. I'm like, fuck you too. So I have no friends because of that. Yeah, I wonder what the Starkey's doing with the Whipple crap. Probably not great because you don't hear nothing. Side note, your package should get there tomorrow. If they don't river dance on it, I'll be able to put it up there. I'll put it up like right here. Slow 99, right here. So you guys know where that little thing is going to be. Only able to catch replay nowadays. Hope all is well. Looking forward to the ZR1 updates. Hey, I think you're still driving trucks. Yeah, and I got ZR1. I don't say updates per se, but they've been giving me. I'm on a group chat with Ryan and Senior, and we are sharing stuff back and forth. Let's see, Ryan, Jonathan. Yeah, we're basically kind of positioning. They're just sending me pictures of positioning pipes and whatever here and there. So, and they ask me questions if they have any concerns or anything. They're like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that placement? Are we going to do cutouts? Are we going to do that? So I'm really happy that they're working on it. I think they work on it like every Friday because, Ryan has a full-time job, a family, kids, the whole 9 yards. And Senior has grandkids, a job, getting Grey Goose ready. So when they can, they do it. Again, not that there's no rush, but I'm happy that they're working on it when they can. Mr. King, Alex, can you tune my car back to Backfire on shifts? Yeah, don't drop the bar on a flat bench. On your chest is probably not aftermarket. Chuck says, isn't the GT500 sensor also bias versus boost pressure? Yes, the delta. Measures the fuel pressure minus the delta. The difference. Yes, the difference. So, but you can still see trends. People will see a data log from a chassis they never touch and always say something. How can you make 500 NA on pump gas? No 85 around, can't afford boost yet. Nope, you can't buy. See you later. Done. Big block Chevy. Big block Chevy, buddy. Just speed up the pump on every injector pulse. But Alex, I thought we were friends. No, you know what I mean. I barely see you. I'm probably closer to you guys that I've never seen in my life than friends I've seen in real life. So some of my closest relationships is with people I see like once a year. Big block LS7 or Viper, Justin, exactly. Big block LS7 or Viper, exactly. You want to make 500 NA on pump gas? Big block, LS7, or Viper. Alex is going to troll the trolls with a certain item. But Alex, you've been my friends on Facebook for 2 years. We must be friends. ZR1 going to be amazing when it's done. So, talking to Jake yesterday, do you guys... Okay, I know that I'm going to date myself here, but maybe Craig Walls and all the others are probably going to understand where I'm coming from. Do you ever wonder why the modern aftermarket was not as good as the Foxbody aftermarket in 2000? Like, in the year 2000, listen up. You can have an MSD, I don't know if it's a 6AL or if it was a 6AL with a plug-in that you can then adjust your rev limiter on the fly. Listen up. On the fly with a knob. Maybe Chuck or Craig Walls can tell me what that product was. Or you guys. Maybe you guys were familiar. Wasn't there a product, let's say you have a turbo Foxbody and you activate the two-step on a button. Wasn't there like an MSD 6AL or MSD box that you can then plug something into it and a knob inside the car, you can adjust the two-step up and down on the fly? Meaning 3,500, 4,000, 3,800, the 6AL. But I'm saying you can adjust it on the fly. You know what I mean? Like you plug something in like an aftermarket thing and you could adjust it on the fly. Yeah, it had to be a plug-in. Yes. So imagine you have a two-step. Let's say you have a Coyote motor with a turbo manual and you can activate a two-step on a button. And then you can, while you're rolling, activate the two-step as an anti-lag, and be able to adjust the RPM it stops at. So let's say you're rolling and you're at 4,500 RPM. You activate the two-step and you floor it, and the two-step is activated at 5,000 RPMs. So it goes, that is your rolling anti-lag. Because you are two-stepping, under boost, and then you let go, deactivating the two-step. There is your rolling anti-lag. That was Foxbody shit. That was Foxbody shit in 2000. We are in 2025. And people go, can I get rolling anti-lag in a tune? Check PM. Thank you. Thank you, Chuck. I love you. Chuck's the best, man. Chuck's literally the best. He's a good guy. He's 800 years old, apparently. Apparently, he's 800 years old. He's an old motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? ON. Here it is. Summit Racing. This guy's the best. Look at it. You would plug this into a 6AL or something, right? Yes, that's it. That's it. Dude, that's it. This would plug into the 6AL, and theoretically, let's say you had an extension long enough to go into the inside the car. So as you're rolling, you can just go 3,000, 32. Oh, I'm rolling anti-lag. I have a Coyote. I'm going to set it at 5,000 or 5,200. So in the car, you have a button activating this. You can then, or let's say you're in the car, right? And you're like, damn, the track's a little slippery. I'm going to lower my launch RPM from 4,200 to 3,800 on the fly. You don't got to flash a tune. You don't got to open the watt box. You don't got to go in the watt box and go, oh, let me change it to 30. Oh, fucking knob. Analog. MSD 8762. Is this it? 8762? Let me see. What do you say? 8672. MSD 8672. I think you got it wrong, buddy. Oh, no, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. This is Foxbody technology, guys. Look at that. An RPM module selector. This son of a bitch, while imagine you have a Coyote, you have a two-step, you can then, on the fly, move your knob around. Hey, yo. Damn, that goes way the fuck up there, huh? It starts at 6,000? It's a little spicy. I think it's an 8670. That's the one you need. The 8670 is fine. The 8672 is for like Honda shit. Yeah, this is lower RPM. So, yeah, why doesn't the Coyote market have this? Analog shit. On the fly shit. No, Wattbox. Take out your So imagine you're at the racetrack and you're like, oh shit. The track's shit. Let's look. Oh, stop. Open the door, plug in your Wattbox to your laptop, boot the laptop, or just go click, click. That's what we need. We need a plug and play solution that everything is on the fly. No programming. That's what I want. That's what this aftermarket needs. Foxbody's figured it out a long time ago. Why don't we have that? It's weird. It's genuinely weird. People want rolling anti-lag. Find a way of instituting a knob that adjusts spark on the fly, and you have your rolling anti-lag and a two-step button that adjusts the RPM with a knob. This weird, well, let me go in there, hit cruise control plus 30 to, oh, fuck you. That's not on the fly. That's programming. And you, wait, wait, cruise control, map to 3600, 3800. Stupid. Digital 6 has the two-step adjustment on the box. So does the 6AL. No, it's a pill. It's a pill. I'm talking about in the cab on the fly. MSD use a resistor plug to adjust limiter, substitute a variable resistor knob, and you're good. Chuck is an old head. You did just not call him an ON. He's an ON. Chuck's an ON. I'm an ON. Is Honda guys did that back then too? Yes, on the fly. And I guarantee you right now, some of you go, that was a thing? So imagine I had a Foxbody I have a 1990 Foxbody with a built 393, twin turbo, Tremec T56, 410s, and I'm on the highway, and I roll anti-lag at 3,000, and then I go click, click, click to 5,500, and go, and you're like, but I have a newer car. I have more technology. Well, that car is able to do more shit in the racing capacity. The over-digitizing of everything would kill badass shit like this for the most part. Sadly, why do you think I want to get back to that? Why do you think I want to get back? Why do you think I want to make the fucking Fairmont carbureted? Do you think it's because I just wanted clout chase? No. I want ultimate control of everything. Spark on the fly, two-step on the fly. I want to do everything analog. Alex, you have a customer with a Calimer Stage 3 twin turbo named, okay, who wired a bunch to a two-step and made a rolling anti-lag with a manual setup. He only built like 5 PSI. At what RPM? At what RPM? Ramsey Carter. At what RPM? Did he only make 5 PSI? Because if he's two-stepping at 3,000 RPMs, why would he make more? Why would he make more? At what RPM? We have no control of that. Raise the RPM. 5,000. 6,000. What? Something that plugs into the OBD2 port would be great. Those things did work. They were cheap to replace. Coil on plug makes this impossible, if I'm not mistaken. 593 is possible. No, it's not. Not on a Coyote. You're wrong. Shut up. MSD 87311 would do that if you have to carry a screwdriver 60 plus Coyote. Was I just talking about in the cab shit the whole time? Those are the common sense days of racing. If you don't think it's possible, you need a new profession. Okay, Joe Morrison, 500 NA on a Coyote. Wheel! We don't talk behind the asshole. Do it. Go. Go, genius. Go, genius. Go. NA 500 to the wheel Coyote. Go, genius. You'll sell a lot of those. You know what? A distributor drive would be amazing on a Coyote. A distributor drive would be run it off a cam. I'm telling you, I'm back to that old school shit. And I'm a tuner. I don't like any of that bullshit. Stupid. I still have some MSC chips in my toolbox. Can't bring myself to get rid of them. That would sound badass with the Coyote. Someone make some cash on that idea. On the fly, everything. Drive-by-wire sucks. I miss driving carbureted builds. My foot control shit. Exactly. Crank fuel. Hey, it's 30 degrees outside. Oh. Crank fuel. Idle, CSER, idle, cold start emissions reduction request. Hey, Alex, putting a Gen 3 in a Gen 3 Coyote and a 10R80 in a truck. Well, I need a tune to be drivable. It'll be okay plug and play. If you just have a Ford Racing control pack, stock cold air, IMRC active, everything how the control pack likes it, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You don't need a tune unless you want something to change. Alex, do you like aftermarket oil pump gears? Exactly. A manual Gen 3 or Voodoo is not making FBO. Exactly. A manual Gen 3 or Voodoo is not making that on full bolt-on. It's just not. You need too much compression. You need too much RPM. It'll just hate life. I only make 4 PSI commanding 10 at 3,500. Same settings at 4,000. Okay. Maniac SF50 says, I only make 4 PSI commanding 10 at 3,500. The same setting at 4,000 RPMs is 10 PSI. I don't know the RPM. Ramsey, tell him to set the two-step at 5,500 RPM and check the boost then. Whoa! It made 12 PSI! Hey, I'm only making 5 PSI at 3,000 RPMs when I two-step rolling anti-lag. Set it higher. If Alex Yolo made a distributor kit for Coyote, I'd buy it, no questions asked. My Gen 1 full bolt-on E85 makes 440 wheel horsepower, 593 is not happening NA. Thank you. Thank you. But these people think they know shit. You need to find a better engine builder. If you can't make 500 NA on a Coyote on 93 to the wheel, then you'd be the only one that ever did it. Then it's math, then it's boosting, then it's so stupid. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. Good show, technical stuff, a lot of data. This is not the peasant chat anymore. We got to rename it. This is probably the most informed chat that we have. And I think the Tuesday chat is more normie, to be honest with you, because the peasant chat are the hardcore people that are here to talk Coyote stuff. And I appreciate you guys being here, adding. You got Chuck, you got Craig, you got Slow 99, you got Bryce and JD, all the people that have been here for a while, and they add EPA and they add tons of value to the chat. I appreciate you guys very much. I'm going to install a cross member on the Turbo 400 for the Fairmont. I got to weld it in. So I'll be doing that after the gym, and I'll be hanging out doing that on Sunday. Stay tuned tonight, 5 or 6. I'll probably premiere the video. Don't think it's all fancy. It's just belt routing shit, but I think it's interesting because I'm going to eventually solve it, and you'll see the ways I got here with that video starting today with the hopefully making 24.5 PSI with a 6 rib. If I can't, then I'll have to go 8 rib or 10 rib and figure all that shit out. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on Tuesday for Talking Shit Tuesday. Have a great rest of your Sunday. See you guys later. Bye.